Hey guys, we're going to do a little budget build here running pfSense on this Zotac FX7600P. It's a little 2.7 gigahertz platform, comes with 4 gigs of RAM. I got it off of eBay. You're going to have to add your own hard drive. I went ahead and added another 8 gigs of RAM to it. It'll take up to 16 gigs. Takes an internal SSD. You can put an SD in it. That doesn't look like, oh, it's USB or SD right there. So thought that was a mini SD. That's actually USB. Kind of strange. But anyway, you could run it off of SD. I don't recommend it because it's going to be slower. But this thing's pretty cool. It's got 2 network ports in the back of it. It's got 4 display ports in it. It's got 2 USB 3.0 here, 1 USB 3.0 there. It's also got wireless, so which we're not going to use in this particular video. Like I said, guys, this is just going to be a very basic setup. Go ahead and give you a quick look at the internals of it. Take those 2 screws out, and that just simply slides up and then lifts off. So you got your hard drive. Underneath your hard drive, you got a couple of memory sticks. Be careful when you pull this hard drive out. Slide it forward. I know it doesn't look like there's a lot of room because of this nub, but there is. If you lift it up, you may snap this piece right here. So just a basic little all-in-one box. It's got an extra SSD port with power right next to it, but I don't know what you'd ever use it for in this case. So anyway, that's it. Let's go ahead and get on to the install procedure and setup of the pfSense. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started and create a USB disk here. So you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need like 3 or 4 things. You're going to need Balena etcher, you're going to need pfSense, you're going to need a thumb drive, and you're going to need 7-zip to unzip the pfSense. So I'll leave the links in the description for this stuff. Anyway, you go to Balena etcher, download it. I've already done it, we're not going to do that. pfSense, I've already done this too, but I'll kind of run through it. AMD 64-bit, obviously. The installer, you want the DVD, ISO, whatever region you're in, download it. It's going to download a tar gzip. That's why you need 7-zip. You're going to have to extract it and it'll spit out this ISO. So once you do that, open up your Balena etcher, and Rufus will not work for this. So use Balena etcher. You're going to go flash from file. You're going to go to your downloads, select your ISO, go ahead and run it, select your target, click your thumb drive, select, flash. It's going to flash. Okay, we're almost done flashing here, and then it's going to verify it. Or validate it, I should say. You could skip it if you want to, but it's so quick it really doesn't matter. So we're going to let it finish validating here. And it'll probably pop that up. Windows can't read it, so go ahead and close it out. And that's it. So we're going to go into the BIOS settings of the Zotac real quick and then start installing it. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go ahead and power it on, stick in your USB drive that you created, start hitting the delete key. I'm going to go into a couple of settings here real quick and just give a quick look at the BIOS, and then we'll start installing pfSense. Storage configuration. Go ahead and take a look at that. You can just pause it when you need to. Go ahead and enable your USB, your mass storage device. Go ahead and set it to auto. Nothing in there. Go ahead, if this is set to 2 gig or something else, go ahead and set it for 256 meg. You're not going to need it unless you're going to use it for a gaming machine. Okay, go ahead and get out of there. So we're going to go ahead and set that to smart fan. Guess 60 degrees Celsius. I'm going to go ahead and ramp it up to 60%. I'm going to set this to 80 degrees Celsius and do that 100%. Critical temperature, we're going to go ahead and set it 90°C. So there's those settings. Go over into your power. You want to make sure you disable your hibernation and your ACPI sleep state. You don't need those. One thing you need to do is change this from last state to power on, because it's probably in last state. So this means when the power goes off, this thing will kick on. I'm sorry, when the power comes back on after it goes off, this box will kick back on. Go ahead and go to your boot. You can see here your boot options. I'm going to go ahead and leave it like this because what we're going to do is when we save and exit here, we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Save changes and reset. Yeah. Okay, as soon as you see that Zotac logo, you want to start pressing F8 to get your pop-up menu. Okay, so here you want to highlight your thumb drive in yellow, and that will boot that device. So go ahead and do that. Hit enter. Go ahead and let it auto boot here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and accept it. We're going to do the install. Select your keyboard layout. You're going to go ahead and go to Auto UFS, and this is going to automatically partition your internal drive for you. So go ahead and hit enter on that. It's going to go ahead and delete and write the partition tables. And now we're going to do the install. And this really doesn't take long. It takes, I mean, what does it take? 2 minutes? From boot to scoot. Go ahead and let it finish here. And this is all real time. I haven't sped anything up. Okay, so you're going to want to choose no here, but let me insert a couple of things. So what you're going to want to do, you're still going to need video to set this thing up because there's a couple of more steps on the reboot, but you need to go unplug your cable modem or whatever device you have. Let it sit for about 5 minutes because I tried just directly swapping it, mine freaked out. I had to let it sit for 5 minutes. You're going to want to plug your cable modem into the back of the Zotac box into the RJ45 port closest to the wireless antenna. That's going to be default port 0. Your other one, you're either going to want to plug it into your existing switch or your computer because that's going to hand out DHCP and that's going to be your LAN port. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here, get mine hooked up, and then we can continue on. Because basically what it's going to do, grab an IP from the internet, hand an address out to me so I can see that address, and then we can get to it from the remote interface. Okay, be right back. Okay guys, I finally got my cable modem to play nice. I had to reboot that thing, let it sit. I had to let it sit for 10 minutes, and I had to do it twice. It just did not. It did not want to cooperate. So anyway, you should be picking up an address when you reboot here. So what we're going to do is your interface RE0, which is the one closest to the wireless connection on the back of the Zotac. That's going to be your WAN port, as I've said already. Go ahead and set that. Oh, I'm sorry. It says, should VLANs be set up now? No. Now it's going to ask for what port? So RE0 for WAN, RE1 for LAN. Do you want to proceed? Yes. So it should pop up an IP address fairly quickly. As you can see, it has. So once this is done, we can go ahead and get into our web interface, which I will switch over so I can show you right now. Okay, go ahead and bring up your browser and go to 192.168.1.1 is what it should be. That's the default of pfSense. Go ahead and click on Advanced. Continue. Your username is going to be admin, all lowercase, and pfSense. Now, y'all should already have, it should be handing out DHCP across your network. Basically, all we're going to do is a very minor configuration here. You should already have internet access. If you don't, go back and check all your connections. Make sure you got an IP address from your WAN when your device booted up. If you have a router that already has wireless and stuff on that, you're probably going to have to put that into bridge mode. I don't have one, so I can't show you that. There's plenty of tutorials on the internet on how to put routers into bridge mode, or cable modems, or DSL, if that even is a thing anymore, into bridge mode. They probably have a video for your exact device, so go ahead and look that up. So it's going to walk you through a little wizard here. Go ahead and go through it. Just next. Go ahead and give it a host name. I am, because I have a domain. And that is kind of what these videos are going to be about, is setting up a home lab. So my next video is actually going to be how to install VMware. So anyway, we're going to go ahead. I'm not going to add any DNS server right now or anything like that. I don't want to confuse anybody. Just go ahead and tell it next. Choose your time zone. -6 for me. DHCP, yes, that's how your WAN, you're going to get your WAN address. Unless you've got static. If you've got static, you want to set that as static and set in your information. So I don't though, I have DHCP. Go ahead, leave these two checked. Go next. This is your LAN IP address. So just go ahead and click next. Now you want to set your password. Now that's going to be your gateway too. That 192.168.1.1. It's going to be your gateway. It's going to be how you get into your pfSense box. Okay, go ahead and reload it here. It takes a couple of minutes. Well, about 30 seconds. You can check for updates, but if you downloaded it, you should have the latest update. Go ahead and click finish. Now this does take a couple of seconds here. Okay, it's going to come up with copyright terms, accept. You're welcome, thank you. Let's go ahead and add a couple of little widgets here. Let's get rid of this one, unless you want it. Leave it up there. Yes, accept. You're welcome again. Okay. We're going to add interfaces. Oh, it's already added. Sorry. We're going to add gateways. And we are going to add, where is it? I'm going to go ahead and add a thermal sensor just to see if this thing even shows it. I haven't tried it on this. Okay. You can always close it if you don't need it. Want the interface statistics. And then we want traffic graphs. It's just some eye candy is basically all it is. And if this doesn't update, we can just close it. It may not be smart enough. I have no idea. So basically that's it. You're good to go. If you want to see log files, go ahead and show that to you real quick. It's under status, under system logs. If you go to your firewall here, you can see the incoming traffic trying to, what ports are coming in, all that, trying to hit on you. So you'll be surprised what's going on in here. So anyway, let's go back to the main dashboard here. Let's turn on, let's change our DHCP interface. You may not have to do this. I want to do it. So I'm sorry, we're going to go to services. We're going to go to DHCP server. It's already enabled. I'm going to start mine at 2:30 and I'm going to end it at 2:54. Let's see, I think that's all we need to change there. So that'll hand out your addresses in that range now, so you can set anything into that static, it won't have an issue. Unless you set it on 2 devices, of course. So that's done. Another thing we can do is turn off IPv6. Now, I know there's a bug in this version, so give me 1 second. Okay, so let me show you what it does when you try to disable IPv6. Go ahead and go to the LAN interface here. We're going to change this from track interface to none and save it. So it throws you a couple of errors here. You can read them. So basically what you want to do is take your IPv6, set it to static. We're going to give it the loopback address. Go ahead and save it. Apply the changes. Wait for them to apply. We're going to go to services. You're going to go to DHCPv6 and server RA, because that's one of the errors. You're going to go to router assignments. You're going to tell it disabled. Go ahead and save that. Then we're going to go to the DHCPv6 server. We're going to change this from 1000 to 1. We're going to change this also to 1. We're going to take this check out, or else it's going to throw you an error if you don't do it. You're going to go ahead and save that. Once that's done, we can go to our interfaces, go to our LAN port, and then we're going to none on our IPv6. Go ahead and save it. Apply it. Wait for the changes. And then you're going to want to go to your WAN port and go to your IPv6 and go ahead and tell it none. And go ahead and save it. Apply the changes. Wait for it, and then you're going to want to reboot it. So no, this isn't necessary. It's not going to harm you in any way whatsoever, one way or the other. I am never going to use it, so I don't want to see it. So it's just personal preference to me. Well, it may be a little more personal preference because you might have to configure some stuff for it, and if you're not going to use it, why mess with it? So in order to reboot, go to diagnostics and click reboot. Tell it what type of reboot you want it to do, and it'll reboot. And then it should come up. You should have no more DHCP6, which I have already done, so you can take a look. I've only got WAN DHCP now. So you should be good to go. If this video was helpful to you at all, or if you enjoyed it at all, please leave me a comment down below and subscribe. And if you want to see future videos, which I'm going to make plenty of, this is going to be a series of building a home lab. The next one's going to be VMware, so where we can get to loading some server software, Windows Server software, so we can get to Cloudflare, so we can create a website and a domain, and just some fun stuff. But anyway, it really would help me out if you'd subscribe and leave me a comment and let me know. I know this video is kind of grainy. Hopefully they'll get better. Anyway, y'all have a good day, and I appreciate you watching my video. Thank you.